Everything is new the first time you try it. Today on the Blue Collar Proud Show. Hey, Proud Nation. Welcome back to another episode and another week of the Blue Collar Proud Show, the show that is all about having and living the blue collar business dream. If you can dream it, you can build it. Taylor and I believe that, and we want to be a part of your journey to success. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week. My name is Carter Harkins. I got it right this time.
You did.
I know my name. Yes. And your name is Taylor Hill.
And you know my name. Yes.
How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Let me just tell people real quick about our Closing Commander sponsor. I just gave the name away. Closing Commander. If you haven't heard us rave about it yet, I'm going to just tell you we're excited about what we're seeing. We're seeing businesses. We've got a total of 4 now that are in our Commanders Club Elite program because they successfully closed over 6 figures of additional business in less than 6 months. And the only thing different they did was to start letting Closing Commander automate the follow-up process on all of their open estimates. So they spend less than a minute, usually on average about 35 to 40 seconds, entering in the customer's information and letting it run. And Closing Commander is automating the follow-up process, emailing those customers, asking them if they're ready to proceed or if they have questions. People are responding. I mean, the intangible benefits are just as great as the dollar amounts.
Yeah.
People are saying, man, I haven't heard back from so many customers in my entire life. Yeah. And they're giving me information I didn't know. Like, I'm finding out that my tech didn't present the estimate the way that we teach techs to present estimates. I was able to fix a problem because of a customer's feedback just by asking them if they wanted to do the job or not. I had another one that said, I'm finding out why when they say no, they're telling me the reason why, and I'm finding out that the way I'm presenting, I'm not doing a good enough job telling people the value of what we do and why our price is what it is. I'm not going to change my price. They're telling me I'm too expensive, but what that tells me is I don't need to lower my price. It tells me I need to do a better job of communicating the value of what we do.
You bet. And all that is invaluable information for a business to take it back and work on the things they know they need to work on. It gives you direction.
Absolutely. So if you want to see results like that, I would love it if you try it out. In fact, we've made it possible through Blue Collar Proud Show for any listeners listening to get not just a 14-day free trial, which we give to everybody. We want to give you a full month free. That's on top of the 14-day free trial. You can get that by clicking the link in today's show notes. It's closingcommander.com, but if you click the link in today's show notes, you're going to automatically have that first 30 days free applied when you add a credit card and get started. During the 14 days, you don't have to add a credit card. You can just try it out, see if you like it. But if you do and you want to, then add that credit card. You'll automatically get your first 30 days completely free on us. Check out the website if you want to learn more, closingcommander.com. Okay, talking with Trevor Flannigan today. Great subject.
Yeah.
And this is somebody I really admire for how quickly he moves when he decides it's time to get something done.
Yes.
I admire that in people because I don't particularly possess that skill to move quickly. I have ideas faster than anyone. Knowing it's the right idea and putting together the plan and making it happen. Those people are just uncommon.
Yeah.
And when you find one like Trevor, it's a great conversation. So today we're talking about trying new things.
Right. And I love the quote that you've got here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Go ahead and read it.
Don't fear failure so much that you refuse to try new things. The saddest summary of a life contains 3 descriptions: could have, might have, and should have. Lewis E. Brown, American author. That's great. Yeah. Coulda, shoulda, mighta.
Yeah. Words to be avoided, right?
Yes, exactly.
So fearing failure is what keeps us from trying new things. But it's also, the thing that prevents us from exploring the world the way that we really, getting the most out of those experiences we are trying, right? Yeah. If we're in a moment, we get over our fear enough to try the thing. We walk through that experience so fearful that something is going to happen or we're going to make a misstep that we don't really enjoy or get out of that experience everything that we want.
Yeah, and one of the things in this interview that Trevor talks about, and I'm not going to give it away, but I want people to really pay attention to what he discovered about large companies versus small companies.
Yeah, that was a good moment. Well, tell you what, let's go ahead, play his interview, and we'll come back after. Trevor Flannigan, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here.
Looking forward to talking to you today about some things that I know you've had some experience in too, just in your own journey. You're a pretty young guy to be where you are and doing what you do as well as having done what you've done. So would you mind just telling people really quickly a little bit about your experience in business?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a lot of God stuff that kind of got me where I'm at. So I started out of, I was in college, and I was a janitor for University of Missouri, and the people at the university, the chancellor and the vice chancellors, I guess they liked me setting up their rooms and cleaning up their messes, so they asked me to basically manage a big organization for the university and allocate $500,000 in student fees to different places. And so I had a staff of 8 people pretty quick in college, and then whenever I graduated, I applied for jobs like everybody else, and God intervened again, and I ended up working at a pretty well-to-do grocery store up in Minneapolis, and I kind of skipped a step and was managing different districts for them instead of just a singular store, and then ended up running a plumbing company and did pretty good there. I grew it from 7 million or so up to over 20 million in revenue in just 4 years, and as that was kind of ending and that company was selling, I started Home Service Chats, which does pop-up chat primarily for contractors, and we've been doing pretty well here. We've grown. We just started it just over a year ago, and we already have over 100 employees, and we have a really strong culture, and it's really fun to work at a place you love coming into every day. So I've had an early opportunities that led to some short-term success, and I thank God for that.
That's awesome.
Incredible story for sure. It's great. And we've had a chance to just get to know you a little bit and talk with you. It strikes me though, as you tell the story about your journey through all those different companies and those different steps, that it was your willingness to put yourself out there to maybe do things that were just outside your comfort zone, or you didn't have necessarily experience in yet. But you didn't let that stop you. You just dove in, and your willingness to try new things was ultimately what led to that success.
Yeah. And I think that there's so often I find that pride, ego, whatever you want to call it, kind of creeps into people's lives. And I found that I try and check that at the door because it's really hard to recognize failure if you're so busy trying to be too proud of what you've done. And I try things all the time, and I am the first to tell you I am not the brightest person, but I definitely know what failure looks like. And as soon as I recognize it, and I think that really good business people recognize that their failures early on, and it provides them some great long-term success. It allows you to try a lot of new things and see, okay, does this work? And if it does, go to the next thing. And if it doesn't, stop doing it. So I think checking the ego at the door has been really big for me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about people who venture in and they say they're going to try new things, but they actually never do it. And then they say, well, it didn't work. Whether it's business, whether it's software, I mean, it can be a number of things. It's just an interesting thing to me that I would love to know if you know the psychology behind that, because I've never been able to figure that one out.
Yeah, so it's really fun on my end of it. So in plumbing shop, we controlled everything. As a contractor, you kind of control everything. And so I wasn't exposed to it as much with the plumbing and HVAC company as much as I'm exposed to it now, because now I'm dealing with contractors all over the country. And it was funny, whenever we were starting Home Service Chats about a year ago, our average contractor was paying us, $800 a month, because we just thought that was normal. But what we found was the biggest companies were signing up for our chat service first. And we charge based off of volume, and we didn't even recognize, and it wasn't even something we were thinking of, that the larger companies are the ones that are signing up first. And it's a funny thing that we noticed that, the larger companies are also the ones that are trying new things first. And
Mm.
they're not afraid of it. They just like, all right, sign me up. And it's the same idea where they're like, hey, if it doesn't work, there's no contracts, I'll quit it and I can go to the next thing. And that's how they are as big as they are. And that's how they're successful is, the ability to, not get in their own way and, be innovative. And then obviously on the other end is recognizing whether it works or not. But, over the course of the last year, our average ticket keeps on dropping more and more because now as all the big companies have signed on, they love it. It works really well for them. We're finding that the smaller companies are starting to follow. They're like, okay, well, now I'm ready. And, some of them do and some of them don't. And they'll say they're ready. And then they just like, whenever they find out they have to actually pay money for it, they stop doing, they stop being ready and they just get in their own way. And I just want to shake them because I know based on, my view now seeing all these organizations, like the common denominator of success is the ability to just give it a shot.
So I'm curious it's kind of a chicken and the egg question, but are these companies, these big companies, are they big because they try new things or do they try new things because they're big?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know, so working in plumbing and HVAC industry, I just know my owner. I got him to know him really well. I got to be his, right-hand man. And I can't imagine a world where he wasn't trying new things every day. He was just the first person to say, yeah, like give it a shot. Like you think it's a good idea, go for it. And he was empowering not only vendors to try new things with him, but he was empowering his people to try new things. And so I just got to lean on the fact that I think successful people overall just have more of a trust factor in the decision-making capabilities of other people around them. And, you give them a shot, and if they don't do anything with it, they don't get a second shot. But I mean, I think giving people that first opportunity is a big win. But at the same point, I also can see that you need to experience that. So I think it's something that's like, all right, let's trust somebody to do something for me. And then once you realize it works, you're more able to do it again. And you're like, well, it worked last time, so I might as well trust somebody. And then you start making millions of dollars and start having lots of employees and people start doing really great things for you. I think that it's a progression.
I think you're right. But I think it does start with mindset. I think it is I'm willing to try this and I'm not afraid of it failing. Because failure ultimately is going to tell me a lot of great information that I'll be able to use in other places and in other ways. When it works, great. Well, let's try some more of that. But occasionally we're going to try something that doesn't work, and that's okay. And I think it is a mindset thing that opens up the possibility that even with a limited budget in a smaller company, that we've got to push ourselves. We've got to try things that could open up new opportunities for us. For
sure. And I think that people they just fall into that bucket of, well, I'm small and I can't try new things. And I just think that's a bunch of phooey. Like, I don't subscribe to that mentality because it's like, just do things at a smaller scale. Like I live in a world where it's all relative. Like, it's like, well, let's try something a little bit smaller, but still try it. And especially with the way technology works nowadays, most of the time you're already priced on volume. So it doesn't really make a difference. I think that they're just throwing up excuses more than anything.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And not only on that, but the fact that trying new things is a mindset for owners that really are bent for growth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look at our own company. When there was 3 of us, we probably tried more new things then than we do now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier to try a lot more things back then. It's like all you're doing is doing new things. It's I was just talking to Scott, my business partner, about that. I was like, you kind of go from phases of business. Like between 1 and 10 million, I think that it's a lot of ideation, at least as a contractor. It's a lot of ideation and you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. You're coming in every single week, trying new things and seeing what sticks. And this is the successful side. This is what the successful opportunity people do.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get to around 10 million, though, you stop doing as much of that because you want to create the Starbucks effect. And, you don't go to one Starbucks and have like hey, we have a new spin on a caramel macchiato at this one. And like, that's just not the way it works. So you have to create the consistencies in your business that your customers love to respect. And it does slow down some of those things a little bit, but you just have to be a little bit more strategic about your implementation. Like hey, let's just go ahead and do this at a smaller scale with just a few customers, or only, let's try and do this, but kind of, this marketing piece, but kind of do it to this zip code and see if it works. And you just have to be a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
But you have a $10 million company, so you shouldn't complain.
So maybe saying it another way would be that in the beginning, what you're disrupting is pretty much everything, because there's no business pipeline yet. There's no revenue stream. So you're able to disrupt just about anything in order to create wealth. Once you've got that pipeline in place and things are going, you've got to be careful not to disrupt that, but disrupt the business processes or improve those business processes. But maybe they're smaller moves as you get a little bit bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's probably, it's smaller and bigger at the same time. You're spending more money on the moves that you're making, but you just have to kind of do little like A/B testing to see if they work. It's good problems to have. I've been reflecting on it quite a bit lately as we've been growing this business, because, growing a plumbing business, I was growing 30-40% a year, and I can see kind of where the trends are going at a very, controllable pace. We're growing this business 10-20% a month still. And we have to like, okay, what does it look like in a week? What does it look like in a month? What does it look like in 3 months? Like, scalable processes are everything.
That's true. That's rapid growth. I cannot imagine, man. I'd love to pick your brain. If you weren't busy growing it so fast, you may have a little time to tell us what that's like, because it's just ridiculous growth.
It's really, I think people make an organization. I think that creating cultures of really, smart people and trusting them to make really good decisions, and communicating. I think communication, like, no matter what organization you walk into, if you did a poll with any company, they'd say communication is the worst part about working here. And I just think that it's because of, the lack of everyone knowing what's going on. And I don't think there's anything you can do to completely take care of that. But if you really just kind of drill it into people that we need to talk to each other, and just to kind of work in your own world. Scott and I kind of tell our directors and our managers, like, you're the CEO of your department. Like, you're the CEO of an HR company. Like, act like this is your baby. Communicate what you'd like to do. Kind of take the bull by the horns. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Kind of the same things I do on a daily basis, we try and get them to do. And it's been really fun for us to just kind of come in and see what happens. And they know the end goal, they know the mission and vision. And I don't know, we like coming to work every day because of it.
Man, awesome. There's so much good stuff in just what you said right there. And I'm going to leave it there for people to just kind of marinate on. But can we have you back on again and talk some more?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Anytime.
Awesome. Trevor Flannigan, everybody. Thank you, sir. I want to be Trevor Flannigan when I grow up.
I think in my next life is going to have to be Trevor. If I'm not grown up by now, I'm in trouble.
Well.
I know how that goes. But, Carter, there are so many new things to try. I mean, especially in our world. And I'm sure in everybody's world, because technology is this ever-moving just thing that happens. So how do you decide what to try first?
That's like, that's my biggest problem. I mean, there's so many ideas and I want to try them all. And you know this because you're my partner. But I look at it this way. There's two types of toddlers in the world. Okay, there's the toddler, you going into the grocery store and you put your kid in the seat of the cart. And there's the toddler who is very content to sit there and be pushed through the store, looking around and observing. And the moment you need to take him out of the cart and set him down on the floor of the store so you can do something or have him walk along, he's petrified. He doesn't want to try that. He knows that the cart is his place. He doesn't want to do this other thing. And so then there's the kid who climbs down out of the cart when you're not looking, takes off tearing through the store and is 18 aisles over and buried in a pile of clothes or something, and you don't even realize he's gone. And he doesn't realize how far he's wandered off, and then he suddenly looks around and goes, oh, crap. I'm in over my head. I'm way gone. I don't know where anybody is. Where's mom? And freaks out, right?
Yeah.
I'm the second one of those toddlers. I'm the one who goes head first into the new thing to try it out. And then I look up and go, uh-oh.
What have I got myself into?
So, but I've learned that skill a little bit better to make evaluations about what's worth trying first, or what is worth trying at all, right? Vetting the process of a new idea, or vetting a new idea through a process is what I mean. So I have a criteria that I ask about, and about whether or not an idea meets these criteria. And if it does, then it's something that I should start talking about and start seeing if we can, figure out a way to do that. If it doesn't meet any one of those criteria for any reason, then I just leave it on the floor. It was a great idea. It was a fun moment while I had it, woo, great little one night stand with this idea. Okay. Right. But it's not anything serious. It's not something I want to get married to. It's not a relationship that is going to be meaningful to me. It's just going to cause me heartache. So those criteria are, I'm not going to get into high specifics, but it has to meet these criteria. It has to be in alignment with the things that I want out of my life. It has to get me there. If I can't see how that vehicle goes up that hill, then it's not a vehicle I'm going to get in.
Right.
If it meets that criteria, then it needs to meet the next criteria, which is, is it something that I can accomplish with the resources that I either have or know I can get? And the third one is, what is the time frame for getting there? If we were to do things, 80-20 rule, if we were to do things 80% right, how long would it take us to get, or me to get, what I want out of this idea? And if I can't answer those questions, and if that answer on the last one is a number that I've decided is a worthwhile number, and I won't share it, but then I don't get on that bus. That's not something I'm gonna pursue at all. Every once in a while, one of those ideas I see the potential in, and you have to do some homework. You have to do some diligence to get an answer for those questions. You have to know yourself. You have to know what you want out of your life. You have to know what resources you have and which resources you can get, and how long it would take you with those resources and skills to be able to do what you want to do with that idea. So there's some knowledge there.
Because all that translates to business. You better know what your business is. You better know what you want out of your business.
Yeah.
You got to know what the resources of your business is, and you've got to determine what the timeline is, what the deadline is on that, what it's going to do. So all that translates from not just your life to try new things, but your business. So that's really good.
Yeah. And when I say my life, I mean my business, because my life is my business. I'm all business all the time.
Well, I know that. You know that, but the listeners may not know that.
Well, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Because we try new things around here all the time, and some of them work, some of them don't. So now on the flip side, right? I mean, I was talking about how I evaluate which ideas I want to get into. Now we're into one. How do you determine, what are your criteria for determining whether or not this idea has been successful, or whether we need to kill it, or whether we need to continue it? Those things. How do you suss that out?
Well, there's a couple of things, and I'm the same. I'm going to look at this totally through a business perspective. One thing is cost versus results, but I'm going to pause a minute here, because most of the time when I say that, people think I'm talking about money versus results, and I'm not. Okay, I'm talking about cost versus results. Cost, there's a lot of things involved in cost. Cost can be time. Cost can be branding. Cost can be anything that you have. And let me just give you an example, because I have a lot of questions around social all the time. Why put all my time and my effort into social? Because I don't see a direct ROI. Well, there's a lot of things about social that are signals into other platforms, including your search platform and Google, that matter. Every time that you post things, Google picks that stuff up. That matters in search. You've got in Facebook, and I'll just take Facebook because that's the one that most people are in, but you can say this about Twitter, you can say it about Instagram, you can say it about anything else. There are so many people in Facebook that never go anywhere else that may be looking for what you do. If you're not in there and active, and they search for you, or they search for what you do, you may not come up. So if you're not active, it's like any other platform. The more active you are, they're going to bring you up.
Right.
So it's not always about the cost of what do you lose. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm making sense here. So it's got to have a reason. Why are we doing the thing? You know, what is the win? So if you know what the win is, then you can say, okay, what is the cost to get to that win? And if you're willing to pay that cost in time and money and whatever it is that you're looking at, then you know how to gauge if it works or not. Okay? So some of those things you find out real quick that works great. Other things you find out real quick, well, we're struggling here. So is the struggle have to do with how we're using the tool, how we're using our time, or is the struggle the thing?
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. When you try something, and I'm going to use myself as an example. For years, I would tell people, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I didn't make a decision. I didn't make a commitment to lose weight. Only until this last year, when I made a commitment to lose weight, did I lose weight. Well, if you're going to pay for something, then use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because I can guarantee you pretty much every single thing that we have committed to here, there's one thing that is a perfect example. We had something called the toolbox. You remember that?
Yeah.
Everybody told us we wanted this toolbox to do all these things, and we created it in our marketing company. We released it to over 100 of our clients, and I had one client that used it.
Yeah.
One.
Right.
Even though they said they would use it.
Dozens said, yeah, that's what we want.
That's perfect. That's great.
In fact, we expect.
Yeah, this is fantastic. So that's what I'm saying about, that's the way I look at it, is if something doesn't work, then I want to find out, is it because we're not doing it? Or if it doesn't do it. If it's not doing it.
The question is, are we doing it wrong, or is there nothing that can be done?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the question you have to ask, because if you're going to try something, you are responsible to commit yourself for a certain time frame. Mm-hmm. And it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 months.
Do you think it's important to define what that is at the start of something new when we're trying a new thing, to say, okay, I'm going to give it 6 months and then we'll know?
Yeah. And I think if you give anything less than about 6 months, it's like everything else in the world. It's a numbers game. I think no matter what you try, if you don't give it 6 months, you're not doing yourself or whatever you're trying any favors.
Well, and 6 months is an arbitrary number. Depending on what you're trying, you could know in 6 hours. But I mean,
well, that's true, because there are some cases. I mean, I had to tell a customer last year, it's going to be 18 months to 2 years before we can turn your situation around, because you got a bad situation.
Right.
So but they know it up front. That's how long it's going to take.
But you're saying, okay, we're going to try this thing. It's going to take this much resources, time, cost, all of those things. And we want this result out of it. And we think that in order to take those resources and get that result, it's going to take X amount of time. In order to, figure some things out, make some errors, adjust those errors, get to success, and we're going to give it this much time and commit to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's kind of the way that I look at a tool, is the same way. I want to know, why are we doing it? It's training's the same way. You can buy all kinds. I've known people buy all kinds of training stuff. I mean, back in the day before we had the internet and all the webinars and all that kind of stuff, there was something that came out that for every person that went to a convention and bought the thing that was sold, 2% actually did the course.
I believe it.
Yeah, I do too, because I had courses that I've never gone through.
No,
that I've thrown out now.
But man, it sure felt good to buy it.
Did.
I felt smarter for spending that money.
Just doing that. So my thing is, if you're going to commit the dollars, commit to the process. Commit to whatever it is, and give yourself that commitment X amount of time and just do it.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do it, then no tool is going to help you. It's like having a hammer and seeing a nail and go, yeah, I'm just not interested in driving the nail. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we do it all the time.
Yeah, that's great advice. I like it. Well, good stuff from you and from Trevor. Let me just hit a few. Yeah, we've got to wrap it up. So feedback, announcements. Here we go. 3 quick reminders. Number 1, please check out our show sponsor, closingcommander.com. Use the link in the show notes today to sign up and get an entire month, 30 days, absolutely free. I think you're going to enjoy that and get some good results. If you need online marketing services built for contractors and home service businesses, that would be us over at Spark Marketer. So give us a call, let's chat about how we can be a part of that system, how we can be a part of your team and get you down the road to where you want to go in your business. And number 3, we'd love it if you'd take a minute to leave us a review in iTunes. When people come and they see our podcast and they see a lot of positive reviews, they go, I think I need to listen to that. Very much like they do when they go in search of a business that offers your services and they see your business and they see a lot of good reviews. Help us. Help us. All right. Also, don't forget, you can download our free show app from the Apple App Store or from Google Play. Great content in there. Lots of bonus and special offers. Also, come hang out with us over in the Blue Collar Proud Nation Facebook group. Just do a search, ask to join. We'll let you right in, and you can hang out with some cool people over there in that group. And you can find out about all the other places where you can connect with us by simply going over to our website, bcpshow.com/connect. And that is going to do it for this episode of the Blue Collar Proud Show. As always, Proud Nation, Taylor and I want to thank you so much for being out there and listening to us. We also want to thank the people that make this show happen every single week. Aaron Blay is our technical director, Jessica Wynn, our show coordinator, and Jonathan Sanders, our social media manager. Until next time, remember, it takes the same energy to build a business you hate as it does to build one that you're just so proud of you can't hardly stop talking about it at parties. So why not build it the Blue Collar Proud way? We'll see you again right here next time. Bye.
The Blue Collar Proud Show is a production of the Blue Collar Proud Network.